But if you notice, like, there's countless videos of Busta Rhymes getting mad at females for just being girls. This girl touched him one time, he go crazy, throw a drink on her and everything. See what I'm saying? Like, what? Why you getting mad at females? You go to these guys, they in the club, go to their section. It's all men in the section.
Busta Rhymes is making waves online again, this time because a former bodyguard decided to put him on blast. The bodyguard is spilling some eyebrow-raising claims, saying Busta had some real questionable demands when it came to young men in his VIP section.
Never heard of him.
Model dude, like a model guy. He be doing like some rapping and stuff. His name Don Benjamin. I'm out with Don Benjamin. And the club we ended up going to, Busta Rhymes in there. Oh, I knew about this like in 2012. I knew about this in 2012.
That's just the beginning. Orlando Brown jumped into the mix too, running his mouth as usual, claiming Busta is one of those industry dudes on the down low, and even went as far as saying Busta played a role in turning him out. But wait, it gets even wilder.
If Busta ever try to front me, hit you with no delay, so what you saying, yo? Silly with that 9 milli, what the devil, yo? Yeah, I do his better than him. He better not play with me. I will and perform Busta Rhymes' show. Look, man, if they try to say that if you ever thought that the Busta Rhymes was better than me, you crazy.
50 Cent decided to stir the pot, throwing out some cryptic shots that got folks side-eyeing Busta's so-called secret lifestyle. And now, a whole line of dudes is stepping forward with their own stories, saying Busta allegedly made some out-of-pocket advances and tried to get them to party with him.
And I'm walking across the street and Busta Rhymes just grabbed my hand. And he holding my hand. Now, I ain't know it was Busta at first. You know, Busta Rhymes tall. I'm sure I came up to about right here. So the first thing I noticed was this big-ass flip mode chain that was blinding me.
Let's be real, this ain't just about who somebody is into. The real issue is these industry dudes putting on a tough guy act in public, but behind the scenes, they're moving real funny. Instead of living in their truth, they're out here crossing lines, making folks uncomfortable, and putting hands on people who ain't with it.
They call them fun boys. They'll say, we gotta have some fun boys in the section for Busta.
What about Busta Rhymes? I've definitely seen quite a few people not too happy about your story about Busta Rhymes.
But ain't nobody saying nothing to me.
Folks in the industry have been whispering about Busta's antics for a while now, giving him the side-eye behind closed doors. But now, it's all coming out in the open for everyone to see. So what exactly did Orlando Brown and 50 Cent say about Busta Rhymes? And did he really step out of line with young men? We're about to break it all the way down. And let's not forget, this ain't even the first time Busta's name got caught up in something like this.
We come from a very homosexual era of hip-hop as well. There was a radio personality once upon a time. Her name was Wendy Williams. And she was practically burned at the stake for talking about such. And now it's all come full.
Back in 2006, he made headlines for snapping on a male fan in public, hitting him with a homophobic slur. According to the New York Post, the guy just walked up, tapped Busta on the shoulder to show love, and congratulate him on his comeback. But instead of taking the compliment, Busta straight up lost it. Busta Rhymes went off after snapping on the fan. He turned to his bodyguard and allegedly said, "I hate effing F-word men." Yeah, he really said that. And if you think that's wild, let's rewind to 2007 when Busta was asked about homophobia in hip-hop.
How long has it been like this known about Busta Rhymes?
Well, I knew about this like in 2012. I knew about this in 2012.
How come you think nobody else speaks up on it or says anything?
Because, bro, these people admire these people so much. They want to make sure they in the section, they at the club, they at the video shoot, they can get backstage. That matters most to them. That matters so much to people. It's crazy. Like, but if you notice, like, there's countless videos of Busta Rhymes getting mad at females for just being girls.
He didn't sugarcoat a thing, he made it crystal clear where he stood. He straight up said that, because of what he represents culturally, he does not condone homosexuality at all. When reporters pressed him, asking if hip-hop would ever embrace an openly gay rapper, Busta didn't even bother responding, he just got up and walked out of the interview. But fast forward to today, and the conversation has completely flipped. Now, people are questioning whether Busta has been hiding his own truth while projecting his frustrations onto others. But let's be real, this isn't about whether Busta is attracted to men. At the end of the day, that's his business. The real issue is the alleged self-hate, the aggression, and the way he has been accused of putting his hands on women and even some of his former male employees. That's where the hypocrisy comes in now. Let's take it back to the early 2000s when folks first started whispering about Busta's preferences. And you know who had the guts to air it all out? Wendy Williams. That's right. Wendy wasn't just hinting, she was straight up exposing what she called the homo thug lifestyle. Word on the street is that, back in the day, Wendy had an entire list of rappers allegedly living on the down low, and she did not hesitate to put them on blast. She had callers on her show spilling all kinds of messy details about their so-called run-ins with these industry dudes. And guess whose name supposedly made that list? Yep, Busta Rhymes. One caller even came through with some jaw-dropping claims. He alleged that Busta straight up punched him in the face right after he got down on his knees for him. Now that's a whole different level of wild. But hold up, that isn't even the craziest part. The caller claimed that after the alleged incident, Busta personally told him to keep his mouth shut. And get this, it supposedly went down at a well-known NYC club, a spot where rappers would slide through when they wanted those low-key encounters with gay men. And here's where it gets even wilder, Busta allegedly pulled some major strings to scrub that recording from the internet. But Wendy's OG fans? Oh, they remember that episode like it was yesterday. And let's not act like she was only putting Busta on blast. Nah, Wendy was one of the first to spill the tea on Diddy's rumored down-low lifestyle too. And unlike some, she even brought receipts. Now, here's where things get real messy. Word on the street is that when Diddy caught wind that Wendy had a photo of him with another man, he wasn't having it. Allegedly, he used his industry power to get her fired from Hot 97, practically running her out of New York and forcing her to start over in Philly. And if you think that's just gossip, Jaguar Wright recently confirmed it. She straight up said that Wendy was the first to blow the whistle on Diddy and his so-called homo thug crew in the industry. And here's where Busta and Diddy's connection gets real interesting. Allegedly, that's why they got so tight in the first place. Word is, they had a lot in common, some even claimed they shared young dudes between them. But now that Diddy is caught up in a federal investigation, Busta is keeping his distance. But let's not pretend they weren't thick as thieves for years. Go all the way back to the 90s, and you'll see Busta chilling hard with Diddy, J.Lo, Aaliyah, Hype Williams, basically the whole industry elite. And check this, Busta and Diddy, side by side, kicking it with none other than Jay-Z. Now, take a real close look at Diddy in those old pictures. Folks say he was looking at Busta like he was straight up dinner, literally. And let's not forget, Busta was still rolling with Diddy and hyping him up as recently as September 2023, just weeks before Cassie came through and dropped that bombshell lawsuit. But let's take it back to what Jaguar Wright said about Wendy Williams exposing these so-called homo thugs. See, Wendy wasn't just calling them that because they were allegedly gay and on the DL. The real reason was that these dudes were out here using intimidation and straight-up violence against anybody who tried to expose their secret lifestyle. And let's be real, both Diddy and Busta Rhymes have a long history of putting hands on people. We're talking about women and men, usually folks they knew wouldn't swing back. Busta's legal troubles? Messi doesn't even begin to cover it. Go all the way back to 2006, Busta allegedly put hands on a man just because he spit on his car. But that wasn't the only time the law came knocking. Later that same year, prosecutors went after him again, this time trying to hit him with a weapons charge. According to Billboard, they claimed Busta had a whole machete just sitting in his ride. Fast forward to 2007, and Busta found himself in hot water once again. This time, he got arrested and slapped with a misdemeanor charge for allegedly roughing up his ex-driver over some money. And guess what? He pleaded guilty to both cases and ended up stuck with 3 years of probation, and just when it seemed like he was in the clear, boom. 2009 rolls around, and the New York Post spilled the tea. Busta had to cough up $75,000 to a fan who claimed he wilded out on him, tossing multiple water bottles his way while his bodyguard straight up punched him in the face. And for what? Allegedly, just because the dude tried to leave Busta's section at a club. According to the fan, he was really there to see Fabulous, but since Fab never showed up, he figured he'd just dip when Busta wrapped up. But Busta? Oh, he wasn't having that. The dude said Busta first hit him with one water bottle, then launched two more before one of his bodyguards clocked him. Wild. So yeah, it ain't hard to see why Busta and Diddy were tight all these years. But beyond their tempers, there's another thing they allegedly had in common, their appetite for much younger men, and if you ask Busta's former bodyguard, Big Homie CC, he's got some stories to tell. Word is, Busta was out here sending his crew to scout young, fine dudes and bring them straight to his VIP section at the club. When Big Homie CC popped up on The Art of Dialogue, he had the internet in a chokehold, boldly dubbing Busta a super zest monster and spilling all the juicy details about what he was supposedly getting into with young men. According to Big Homie CC, this ain't even some new revelation, nah, it's been an open secret in the industry for years. He said everybody in the know, especially club promoters, was hip to Busta's preferences. Allegedly, whenever Busta pulled up to a party, promoters already knew the drill. They had to line up some fine young dudes for his VIP section to keep him entertained, and then Big Homie CC spilled on one especially wild night. He was at the club with actor and model Don Benjamin, along with one of Don's homeboys, who just so happened to be a gay man. And the second Busta locked eyes on the dude, he wasted no time. According to Big Homie, Busta damn near lunged at the guy, pulled him straight into his VIP section, and made sure he wasn't going anywhere. Big Homie broke it down, Busta was all over this dude, keeping him close, making sure he didn't stray too far, and here's the kicker, this wasn't just some random one-time thing. Nah, this was routine. Every time Busta stepped in the club, everybody who mattered knew the deal, spot the finest man in the room and escort him straight to Busta's section. Big Homie even remembered hearing Busta straight up say the dude looked cute, and once he had him in his section, he wasn't letting him go. Big Homie has been hip to Busta's ways for over a decade. And when asked why nobody in the industry ever spoke on it, he kept it real because they wanted to be in that VIP section right alongside Busta, but that ain't even the half of it. Big Homie also brought up something folks don't talk about enough, how Busta allegedly has a long history of snapping on women. According to him, it almost seems like Busta got some deep-rooted jealousy toward women just for being women. And if you think it's just one bodyguard out here talking reckless, nah, fam, there's more. A whole lineup of dudes has stepped up with their own wild run-ins with Busta Rhymes. Back in 2020, a social media user named Trip Ali let some real spicy tea spill on his YouTube channel. He claimed Busta tried to holler at him in NYC while he was on his way to a Halloween party at the club. Trip Ali said Busta hit him with an invite to slide into his VIP section, and at first, he was hyped, he thought it was just going to be a normal turn-up. But then things went left. Trip ended up getting into it with his friend, who wasn't feeling the idea of partying with Busta. Things got heated real quick, turning into a full-blown fight. After that, Trip was so shaken up he wasn't even in the mood to hit the club anymore. To make it worse, his friend just dipped, leaving him stranded in the middle of NYC. Low-key, that might have been a blessing in disguise, cause who knows what would have gone down if he actually pulled up to Busta's VIP section. Now, jump to 2021, and the rumors started flying again. Busta was back out here, supposedly trying to pick up dudes again. Paparazzi even caught him slipping, allegedly leaving a Pride event with a trans woman, but wait, there's more. Another person just came through with a story, and this time, it's none other than Orlando Brown. Yeah, you heard that right. Orlando recently claimed that a whole squad of rappers, including Busta Rhymes and Diddy, had been with him. Orlando Brown had the internet going wild all over again after he got on camera and let the tea spill. He claimed he got down with a whole lineup of rappers, including Diddy, Busta Rhymes, Drake, Bow Wow, and plenty more, but here's the twist: Orlando has a history of substance use and some, let's just say, out there behavior. Because of that, folks didn't take him seriously at first. When he started dropping these jaw-dropping claims about the music industry, everybody just laughed it off, chalking it up as just another one of Orlando's wild rants. But now, with big-name power players getting hit with all kinds of crazy accusations, people are starting to connect the dots. Suddenly, Orlando's stories ain't looking so far-fetched anymore. Could it be that he's been trying to put us on game about what's really going down in the industry this whole time? And more importantly, who are these rappers he claims took advantage of him? For a little context, over the past few years, Orlando has been popping up in viral interviews, spilling all kinds of jaw-dropping allegations about supposed Hollywood rituals. In one of those interviews, he even hinted that there are some big-name monsters lurking in the entertainment industry. And out of nowhere, he randomly mentioned Diddy, strongly implying that Diddy did a certain something to him. Back then, folks just laughed it off, treating Orlando's comments like just another piece of the never-ending joke about Diddy possibly being on the down low. But now, with serious accusations stacking up against Diddy, the vibe is changing. People are starting to wonder maybe Orlando wasn't just talking crazy after all. When the bombshell headlines about Diddy's alleged crimes dropped back in November, Cam Capone wasted no time. He brought Orlando back for another sit-down on his channel. This time, they circled back to Orlando's viral comments about Diddy from the year before and even mentioned 50 Cent's wild story about Diddy trying to take him shopping. And let's just say, Orlando's reaction to all the Diddy talk was real interesting. He's a nice guy. Yeah, that's all Orlando had to say. Now, a lot of people are convinced Orlando is playing it smart, mixing truth with what sounds like nonsense, maybe as a way to protect himself. They think he's using his eccentric behavior as a shield while still dropping real info in between all the chaos. On the flip side, some argue that just because Orlando has had struggles with mental health, that doesn't mean his claims should be written off so easily. In fact, some folks believe Orlando's struggles might actually stem from traumatic experiences in the industry. And all this talk could be his way of coping, or maybe he's even trying to get some justice. And trust, he ain't done spilling tea just yet. Recently, he went viral again, claiming he got down with multiple men in the industry, not just Diddy, but also Busta Rhymes and a whole lineup of others. Most people tend to brush Orlando off when he makes these kinds of claims, but lately, in some interviews where he seems more clear-headed, he's actually been making a lot of sense. And if you really read between the lines, it all starts making sense. So, what do you think about all these allegations surrounding Busta Rhymes? And what's your take on Orlando Brown claiming he slept with Diddy, Busta, and other rappers? Drop a comment below, let's talk about it. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exclusive tea. You already know we keep it real over here. See y'all in the next one. Peace, peace.